What's up, fam? Here you have three prominent Latinos, Puerto Ricans, who decided not to stay on code. So for these three individuals, 1, 2, 3 strikes you're out on Cologne's hip hop team. Let's get into this video. Let's check out who's up first.
Thank you for being a voice, with all respects, to my Puerto Rican people and culture. Puerto Ricans didn't start hip hop at all. My African American brothers created hip hop, whether it was Africa Bambaataa, DJ Kool Herc, or Red Alert, or let's go back to Grandmaster Theodore. That's my boy.
I'm from the neighborhood where the buildings were on fire.
Yeah, I made that clear.
And in that neighborhood, a lot of the pioneers of hip hop, Bambaataa, Flash,
Desde el barrio que viene él, viene muchos de los pioneros de...
and all the b-boys were all black. I didn't see no Latino b-boys.
No había ningún b-boy latino, todos eran negros.
Yeah. Never heard of TBB, never heard of CC, never heard of them. In my neighborhood, all the b-boys, never heard of them. The king of breaking was Beaver, Zulu King.
El rey del breaking era Beaver de los Zulu Kings.
He was the #1 b-boy in my time.
What time was that?
Late 70s, 77, 78, 79. B-boy was the king. Zulu Kings were the best in the Bronx.
I can do this, and I saw what he was doing, and I'm like, I know I could do this, So I went back and I started practicing and trying to get it and and I'm finally.
You were mimicking what you would see him doing?
What I was seeing, Flash. They tell you, listen, they tell you Latinos created hip hop. That's not true.
No, absolutely right.
Were we there to help develop it in the evolution? Yeah. Absolutely. Nobody can take that away from me. You can deny it as much as you want, but back in the Bronx, as much as people talk shit, Latinos and the black community, we were like this.
Yes.
We understand? Yeah. We had each other's back. We knew that like what Grandmaster Cass says, we knew we all we had, we all we got.
Right.
You understand? And we were always close. I always had black friends, and I always had Latino friends, and I was friends with everybody.
Right.
You understand?
And there was a lot of Latinos that didn't come out, that weren't obviously Afro-Latinos.
Right.
Later on, people realized, oh, they're Latino.
Do you know how many friends I knew that I thought were straight up black, and I found out I would go visit them and they talk Spanish. They were some of them, and they were talking Spanish in your house, and I'm like, you're Spanish? Right. You speak Spanish? You're like, oh yeah, you didn't know? No, I didn't know, motherfucker. You never told me.
The side is retired. All right, let's listen to Dr. Cologne as he responds to the revelation that Charlie Chase said that Puerto Ricans did not create hip hop.
Okay, Julio, and then you got before that. So, but that's another story for another time. Womp womp, what's up? Cologne, it's over. Chase admitted Puerto Ricans had nothing to do with hip hop's creation. Yes, he did say that, didn't he? So for you, that means it's over. That doesn't mean it's over for me. I don't really care what Chase said. I heard what he said on Drink Champs. All right, let's take it in context. He said, yeah, let's make it clear, and I'm paraphrasing. Latinos didn't create hip-hop. Okay, but we were there, and we were a major contributor to push this culture forward, and blacks and Latinos were together like this, and anybody that says different doesn't know what they're talking about. But I will admit to you, when he said Latinos didn't create hip-hop, I don't agree with him at all. At all. At all. No. At all. Latinos created certain aspects of the culture. Yes, we did. Okay? There is no, just like KRS said, blacks didn't create it, Latinos didn't create it, Jamaicans didn't create it. We all created it together, unified. Okay? So no, I'm not going to agree with him on that. I don't know why he said that, and that's on him. If he wants to think that way and think we didn't create nothing, then he must not know. I don't know. Maybe he doesn't know what we created. But to create means to do something that wasn't done previously. And we do that in the culture. We do that. We created things that was not there. He created things that was not there previously. So, hey man, that's on him. I don't know why he would say that, but hey, he blurted that out, just like Batch blurted out what he blurted out. That's on them. That has nothing to do with me and what I know to be true and 1,000 exaggeration mind other Puerto Ricans who know for a fact that Puerto Ricans helped create the culture of hip hop. And it wasn't created in one day, in one thing. This happens over time. The seeds are planted and Puerto Ricans are in the house. You can't tell me that black Americans put a brick down and then a Puerto Rican put a brick down and a Jamaican put a light bulb in. Everybody contributed to the building of the house. Everybody, including white people. Everybody. It's not like you could say, nah, the house was already built and y'all came in and maybe put in some of the furniture, but the house was already built. Bull crap. Bull crap. The house was not built.
Let me stop it right there. Let me correct Cologne on one thing. We're talking about the foundation of hip hop. There is no question that is Black American. When you think about the foundation of the music, that's Black American. The foundation of the dance, Black American. The foundation of the vernacular, Black American. Rapping, Black American. So what I'm saying is, when you examine the elements, the foundation points to us. We're not talking about what you guys added. We're not saying you didn't bring in any furniture or even erect partial of a wall, but we're talking about the foundation, meaning you can't build anything without the foundation. And I challenge any Latino to prove that you laid the foundation, that the foundation of this culture comes from your people. I need you to prove that to me, because up to this point, nothing foundational is that comes from any other culture but Black American. Let me tell you what's commonplace I find with Dr. Cologne. If you say something that doesn't line up with his narrative, he's willing to dismiss you. Even fellow Puerto Ricans who have a stature in hip hop. You can't get higher than Charlie Chase in terms of Puerto Ricans in hip hop. But because Charlie Chase doesn't agree, or at least doesn't hold on to this idea that Puerto Ricans created hip hop, Dr. Cologne will dismiss him. Here's a person who was there, who talked about the challenges of being Puerto Rican and what he saw as a Black world. He says that. But for Cologne, he wants to disregard that and act as if that never happened. Now, he also talked about Batch. Somehow Batch got it wrong. Oh, Batch didn't mean to say that Puerto Ricans didn't create hip hop. He was talking about rap. I want you guys to look at that video again and listen to the context in which Batch makes that statement. When he says that Puerto Ricans didn't create hip hop, he's named some names. He said Kool Herc, he said Bambaataa, Red Alert, and his boy Grand Wizard Theodore, right? All of them are DJs. That's what they have in common. So does it really make sense, Dr. Cologne, that when he mentions hip hop and he throws out DJs' names, that he's talking about rap? Come on, man. Stop explaining. I want you guys to think about this. You think about Charlie Chase, Mr. Wiggles, and Batch, all diverted from the Puerto Rican creation theory or origin story of hip hop. And amazingly, neither of those three are going to appear on Dr. Cologne's fictitious Latin breakdown documentary, which I have already debunked. We already had a debate, already debunked the nonsense. But again, there is nothing that I will say or could say, nothing that anybody can say that will deter Dr. Cologne from this fallacious nonsense. He's in it to the end. All we got to keep doing is just keep on putting out the information. He did a video not so long ago about Mr. Wiggles, crying about Mr. Wiggles not staying on code. So instead of getting people like that to appear in his documentary, if it was an honest documentary, those people would be a part of it, more than likely. But he has a bunch of no names that no one has ever heard of before. So all I can say, it'll be definitely interesting to watch, to say the least. Now, what I want to do, I want to go back into the beginning of this interview, and Charlie Chase is going to dispel some of the myths that we've been told, especially some of the things that Dr. Cologne has always said about Charlie Chase, which basically was he a foundational hip hop DJ. Charlie Chase is going to put that answer to rest. He's not foundational. And he also said something that even Kool Herc said. Hip hop started way before, at least the beginnings of it started way before 75. So let's take a listen to part of that interview where Charlie Chase will get into that.
Yeah. Was there any time that you had a doubt that this music will go that far?
Yeah, I mean, remember, remember, listen. People try to put a date on hip hop when it started, and
Right.
it's not fair to do that.
Right.
And I'll tell you why. For example, hip hop was a culture that was already beginning even before Kool Herc.
Right.
Wow.
When people were wearing the Mark Necks, the Kangos, the British Walkers, the Gazelles, that wear all that, the graffiti on the denim, on the jackets, people were already doing that.
Wow.
The parties gave us a place to meet up where we can now, people of alike
community.
can actually meet up, see how we were doing, and right then and there we'd see what you were wearing, and yo, I like that, and then the next thing you know, that guy would go back. So the culture was already bubbling up.
Right.
The parties was just a place for us. It was an excuse for us to get together. So now we can. So the culture was already happening.
Right.
So to put a date on it and to even call it it wasn't even called hip hop then.
Wasn't called.
It was the jams. You know, the CNN was the people in the streets, the high schools. Yo, did you hear about this happening this weekend? Did you hear about Flash happening this weekend? Charlie Chase up in the Bronx on 118 Park. I mean, phone calls. There was no beepers. There was no cell phones.
Right.
There was
Word
no
of mouth,
internet.
flyers.
Twitter.
Word of mouth was on fire.
Right.
And think about this. It happened the way it happened. Because it was brand new. And every single day, every minute of every single day, and everything we did was brand new. You know what that feeling is to wake up every day and it's like, yo, this is brand new. We didn't know what we were doing. We didn't know we were building a culture. We didn't know we were creating an industry. It was just something that
You're
we
just
were
doing what you did.
Right. Right now, to be fair, to say that I was there at the very, very beginning, it's not true.
Okay.
Because Herc started in '73. That's when they say
You started 75.
And I, as a disco DJ.
Disco DJ.
I was a disco DJ in '75.
75.
Right? I was with my crew, Tom and Jerry.
Tom and Jerry, I got that in my notes.
Right.
Relax,
So-
you're going too far.
Okay, right.
Okay, go.
So I started then into '76, and that's when I started dabbling because I always grew up appreciating and liking R&B music.
Right.
And funk, and I was always being a musician. I gravitated to it. I loved it, so I was always playing like the Blackbirds or really listening to all this R&B, WBLS.
So here you hear him say that he started as a disco DJ in 75 and 76. He didn't become a hip hop DJ until a little bit later, and we're going to explore that in a minute.
At the time was the total black experience in sound. That was what they used to call themselves. And I was always tuned to WPLS. So I always listened to that music. I loved it. On top of my mother playing salsa, merengue, and all that stuff in the house. So I was always submerged in music. And I learned actually to appreciate everything because growing up, there was a station in New York.
So his love for black music is unmistakable. So when Dr. Cologne talks about he was into salsa music in the hip hop world, that's just not true. If he played salsa music or any kind of Latin American music, it was much later. Let's deal with another issue that is often a topic of conversation as far as when did Charlie Chase become a hip hop DJ. And I would argue it was 1977. We're going to discuss it after this particular clip. Let's get it in.
Monterey Crew. That's the Monterey Projects, right?
Right. It was the projects that was around the corner from my house on 180th and Arthur Avenue. They were a bunch of young kids. I was always in the community center, and we would play ping pong. There was a place to hang out in the winter where we couldn't play.
Still know how to play ping pong?
Of course I do.
I think I can bust your ass.
Oh, you're right. We can test that.
I got the funky chicken. I got the serve. Yeah.
Because this old man can still kick on the ass. But anyway, so the Monterey Crew, they were always playing music. They had these little baby speakers and stuff like that. And I was always in the community center. And I was with one of the DJ's brother in a band, in a project band that we had playing instruments, right? Okay. So one day, I was going to the back to play some ping pong, and I noticed that the main community room where they throw the parties and stuff was dark, and I'm hearing music, and I'm hearing this music that I'm familiar with, and I'm like, wait a minute, I know all this music, like Jimmy Castor, the Blackbirds, all that, right? So I'm looking through the glass, and it's packed, and it's a hot box in there, and all I could see was one light. You know how when you take the lampshade, you lift off the shade, and one of those lamps was there, and I saw that, I'm like, and then I saw a familiar face, so I walked in there, and I looked and I'm like, yo, what's going on? And it's like, nah, man, we're just jamming out here, this is what we do. And I'm like, yo, I know these records, you know, they would play, like I said, Jimmy Castor, they're like, James Brown, and I'm like, records like that.
And this is pre-breaks, this is just, they're playing the records.
This is pre-breaks, right. So we would actually the breaks already existed, we just brought them up to speed. Remember, some of these breaks were created in the 60s.
But nobody was looping the breaks.
Nobody was looping the breaks at that time. I didn't see them loop the breaks. Right. We're going to go to Flash, and that's the Flash, right? So that when I went in there and I saw them doing it, I'm like, yo, man, I like this. I was already a disco DJ with Tom and Jerry. So I said, man, I know this music. I like this music. I love this music. And when I started picking their brain, and I'm like, you know what? I want to try this. I want to start switching up, because this is what when I seen the crowd appreciating it and dancing to it. We were all young kids at the time. You know, to me, that this is cool. So that kind of lit the flame for me to go in that direction, to start playing R&B and that kind of music and stuff, and funk. Right. You know?
So let me ask you, because...
Did he say anything about salsa? Did he say anything about Latin breakdown? Hell no. So the lie that Cologne wants to present as if Charlie Chase was playing his music, this salsa Latin breakdown in the very beginning, he wasn't. You just heard him say he was in love with funk, soul, R&B. And he actually said the break beats predate 75. He said they go back as far as the 60s. So to give credit to Hurt for creating break beats is ridiculous. He might have extended them, but break beats is not music by itself. He didn't create anything. This is what we call it. It's just technical innovation. That's what he did. He didn't write anything. So we're giving him too much credit. So let's get the history right. Charlie Chase actually started playing break beats probably late 77, early 78. And the reason why I know that, I did a video on Charlie Chase where in 3 separate interviews, Charlie Chase said when he went into that Monterey rec room, he heard those brothers, the Monterey crew, playing Trans Europe Express. And Trans Europe Express came out in 1977. So the event that he's talking about took place in 1977. So when people like Cologne said Charlie Chase was foundational hip-hop DJ, that is a lie. All right, I'm gonna go off topic just a little bit. I recently saw a video of Ahmed Henderson on YouTube, interviewed by a YouTuber called Wreaking Havoc. And I just want to caution brothers like Ahmad to vet these people that you appear on their platform. Because a lot of the Latino interviewers are only interested in finding holes in your history to exploit it so that they can suggest that what you guys did in the beginning was insignificant. While you give praises to the Latino B-boys who took it to another level, they do not have the same respect for you. So I would caution you, my brother Ahmed, to vet these individuals before you appear on their program. See where they stand and see if they truly support you as a pioneer. Because many of them do not. And I know he associates with individuals who do not support the fact that you are a pioneer. They put other Latino groups above you. And I think you should know that. So I would encourage you and other brothers who were early B-boys to do the homework, vet these individuals before you appear on their platform. Dancing Doug found out the hard way. Charlie Rock found out the hard way. That individuals like Wreaking Havoc, Dr. Cologne, Profo One, they do not care about what you guys done historically. So be cautious when you go on their programs. All right, that sums it up for me. Like, subscribe. I appreciate you guys checking out my videos. I appreciate the love. And so until the next time, peace.